If you stand still, it's going to crash over you like an ocean wave and drown you. But if you learn to swim with it and see it as something that can assist you and help you and put it in proper perspective, like the giant spoon, and use it as a tool and put it in its proper place, then it can really make your life better.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to 10x AI, the show where we explore how AI doesn't replace people, rather amplifies them. I'm your host, Julius Neil, and every episode we talk with innovators, builders, and thinkers who are using AI to unlock human potential and not eliminate it. So today with us, it's Miss Tiffany Flaming. She has some learning and development experience for 20 years, and she is here now to discuss with us how is the journey of coaching leaders and how is the journey of coaching individuals transforming into the organization in the world of AI. So, Tiffany, can you tell us more about yourself and how you add value to our listeners and viewers today?
Absolutely. I'm here to talk about how AI can be a partner in building psychological safety for you as a leader in your team. And I'm here to talk about how AI can provide strategic freedom for entrepreneurs to help them automate things that they don't need to be doing so they can really be freed up to think strategically and to think like a CEO.
So, what is usually the gap between the entrepreneur or some managers or CEOs when it comes to transforming into the AI, and also how would that, because you mentioned that you have this coaching framework of doing things so that those people you are coaching, you have this step-by-step ways on how to be able to transition in that moving forward.
Well, I'll start with how I started using it for myself.
Okay.
And then I'll kind of talk about how I help other people use it. But my passion for this honestly comes from my brain. I have ADHD, which means I have a kind of a CEO brain naturally. I'm a very good big picture strategy thinker. I'm really good with creative solutions. I'm really good at connecting people and ideas. But for a long time, the bottleneck in my business was me drowning in that day-to-day task admin, scheduling, follow-up, doing stuff. And it burns me out. It's not my zone of genius, if you will. So I realized that I didn't have to change myself or fix my brain, but I had to build a system for me. And that started with my building a team of AI helpers. So I have this executive team of AI helpers. So I have Morgan.
Wow.
Yeah. So Morgan is my business strategist, and I built her to strategize and to specialize in helping entrepreneurs with ADHD. And so she helps me with my big picture strategy. She builds my schedule. She helps me with goals. I have Athena, who's a marketing strategist, and she helps me build out the marketing for the strategies that Morgan and I come up with. Then I have Jade, who's the social media person, and she does all my public-facing content. I have Pearl, who's a instructional designer, and she creates all my courses. And then I have Peggy, who's a chief of staff. And so I have created this team for myself. And what I've learned is that AI is this tool that lets every entrepreneur build their own Morgan, their own strategist, to start their team right now so they can get out of that doer trap. So that's where I started. And so what excites me then is to be able to take what I've learned and help either managers or leaders inside a business or solo entrepreneurs on their own, show them how they can build their own team of AI helpers to automate the things they don't love doing and to keep them in their CEO brain and being strategist and running their business, running their team.
This is quite interesting because you were able to do all this, agents to help you. You have this team of AI agents, of AI helpers in your words. And then how did you develop that technical side? Because are you in the technical field or are you so how are you able to do from non-technical person to be able to develop AI agents or AI helpers like Morgan, Athena, Pearl, and Peggy?
Right. Well, I am not a tech person, and so I am here to tell you that you don't have to be a tech person to be able to do this. I honestly don't remember the the impetus for creating my first one, which is Morgan, but I remember learning I was learning about Gemini's gems, and I have built
Mm-hmm.
all of these in Gemini's gems. You can do this in a lot of tools. I'm really
Mm-hmm.
agnostic, depends on your needs. Happen to use Google tools a lot in my business, and so Gemini's integrated with that, so it's the easy fix for me. It's the frictionless solution for me. So I think I just actually Googled, I want to create a gem that is my business strategist for entrepreneurs with ADHD. What would be the ideal prompt? I think I Googled it. And so Google gave me a prompt to create the first one. And when you create a gem, you have a master prompt and then you can upload a library of documents. So I uploaded things about myself, results of like my Clifton strengths, my resume, some things I've worked on. So I gave it some context about who I am. And then I said, all right, you're my strategist. And I started kind of just having conversations with Morgan. And I asked Morgan, "What can you do for me?" And so she gave me some. They're all girls, by the way. I have it's a girl power business.
Yeah, girl power.
So she gave me ideas of what she could do, and so we've sort of built this relationship where I give her my appointments, and then every week she fills in time for me to get done what I need to get done. As I was working with her, I started realizing, oh, I'm having Morgan not only do the strategy, but I was having her start to create like content for social media and stuff. And so I asked her, I said, this sounds like it's out of your scope. Should I create another gem? And she's like, yes, actually, you should. You should create a marketing specialist. Here's the prompt for her. And that's when we created Athena.
That's incredible.
So
That's incredible.
as I started working with Morgan and realized I was asking her to do things that were outside of her scope, that's when I realized the need for the next staff member. And so that's how it's sort of developed as I've gone along and my needs have changed, or I've asked them to do things that aren't really what they're supposed to do. I'll go back to Morgan and say, Morgan, I have this need. Do I need a gem for that? Or should I just ask someone else to do it? And she'll say, yes, you need a gem, or no, you don't need a gem. Here's what you should do. And here's a prompt for that. And so it really did. It just started with, I I want to play with gems, and I saw the gems that were in there, and I was like, oh, I bet I could do something for my business. And it was really just me playing with it. And I think that's actually a really important approach to AI is play with it. It's fine. You can't
Okay.
break it. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid. So that's really how I got started with that.
And then once you develop all this, AI gems that you are using now, how do you use it every day in your day-to-day life? For example, you start in the morning.
hmm
Who is the first one you talk to? Who's the second one, third one?
I talk the most to Morgan because she's the one that directs the kind of overall strategy.
Mhm.
And she builds my schedule. One of the things about the way my brain works is that I'm easily distracted by shiny things. And I also I have to do, if I think of something like, oh, I need to get that done. What's really helped me is I can just go to Morgan and say, Morgan, I'm feeling like I need to get this done. Excuse me, can we fit this into my schedule somewhere this week or next? And the frequent distractions and the sense of urgency around those distractions has diminished, and I'm able to be more focused because I can go to her and say, where can I get this done? And she'll fit it in. Mm, when she gives me blocks of deep work, she gives me goals for those blocks of deep work. So I don't have this gap of time looking before me or what am I supposed to do? She really lays it out for me, which is what I need. And so it helps me stay focused. I am so much more productive because I have these goals. I have my priorities broken down into daily goals and even hourly goals for me. And so I can really get those things done that I need to get done. And I don't worry about getting to the end of the day or the end of the week and thinking, what did I do? Like I know what I did. And so it's been really helpful. It's been really satisfying. It's been it's been validating. People with brains like this sometimes are told or messaged in some way that we can't be successful because we don't fit into a certain box of what a quote CEO looks like. And that's not the case. We know that intellectually, but still there's that feeling. But when I've now got this team of AI helpers for me that can really kind of corral all my ideas and thoughts and then make them actionable and sometimes even nicely shoot me down because I've gone to them and said, "Hey, I've got an idea for this. What do you think?" And they're like, "No." I mean, they're cool. They're nice about it, but they're like, "That does not fit in with the strategy. That's a drain, and it's not going to provide you with any return on that investment." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, thanks. All right, I won't do that then." But it's really helpful to have that sounding board for the ideas. These personas here to strategize and actually make actionable my ideas. So it's been a lifesaver, and I work with all of them every single day, primarily Morgan, Athena, and Peggy, my chief of staff.
Hmm.
I'm in the process of building business. That involves a lot of outreach. So Athena outreaches does research on the companies I should reach out to based on my strategy. Peggy puts together the emails and the contact information and everything like that. And then as the human, I take the email templates and then I personalize them, which is something they can't do. But I am able to now take and put the human spin on it so I can reach out to people in a human way that doesn't feel like a robot. But I've had them do all the legwork, so that saves me a ton of time.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. So, for example, with Athena, so how do you interact with her if you need her services?
So Athena is my marketing strategist. So, honestly, one of the things I did is you sent me some questions in advance. I gave those to Athena because you know, here's how you want to look to the world, whatever. So she gave me answers to a lot of your questions. And then I gave her like, no, that's not that. I don't like that. Let's do this. And we adjusted it because she only knows what I tell her. And so I give her more insights and she's got better answers. And so I put together answers for what we were going to talk about today from Athena.
Hmm.
Also, this week, I came up with the idea to start training other entrepreneurs on how to do this.
Okay.
And I went to Morgan. I said, "Is this a good strategy?" She's like, "Yeah, this is good." And so I went to Athena and I said, "I'm going to start doing this, come up with a marketing strategy." And she's like, "Okay, we're going to start marketing this in Q1. We're going to do some teasers in Q4, give these prompts to Jade, who's going to create the social media content for the teasers in Q4." So that's just some of the ways that I work with them.
Okay. How about Pearl? How do you use
Pearl,
Pearl?
Pearl is my instructional designer.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a series of workshops that I do with managers on how to build psychological safety. I have a 90-minute workshop on safe conversations. I have
Mm-hmm.
a longer workshop that's around an assessment I administer on psych safety. I have a series of workshops, and so what Pearl does is she creates my slide content, my facilitator guides, and any collateral that I'm giving out to the attendees. She creates all the content for my courses. So she's my instructional designer.
Wow.
And I take
It's
her content and I'll put it into Canva. They've made some amazing updates in their AI. So I'll put that in Canva or Gamma to turn into presentations or documents
wow. So you are really doing everything using AI.
as much as
And that's
possible. Absolutely.
wow. And this is very amazing. So how that does change your life?
I am free to live in my zone of genius, which is that ideas, the thinking, the connecting. It takes me out of that part of the work that is the drudgery, that is the admin, the task type stuff. It takes me largely out of that so that I can do the higher level networking, connecting, working with clients, leading workshops, the things that I love doing and it keeps me in that world.
This is the first time I had a talk with somebody who's really using this AI gems or AI agent I was really surprised that you are doing it. And it's not easy for the start because you're not really talking to a real person, but
Mhm.
having that courage, because right now there are a lot of people who are very skeptic about AI, and then they think that AI will replace them. So what is your message to them? Like, you are now the living proof that this is doable,
Mhm.
right? And it works because you are the social proof. This is the real result of when I use AI, my life becomes more meaningful, and then I can work in my zone of genius, your term, right?
Mhm.
And again, to be able to improve your life in general on a day-to-day basis.
What I would say is that one of the things that I teach in psychological safety, and the reason I teach psychological safety is because I know that fearful mindset blocks innovation. Innovation is the bread and butter for most companies, and yet they aren't as innovative as they could be because their people are not feeling like they can really be themselves at work. The same is true in our own lives. Fear blocks innovation. If you're afraid of AI, it might take your job. If something is threatening to take my job, I would rather learn to master it than to run away from it. Because if I run away from it, the chances of it taking my job are much higher. But if I learn to master it, I become much more marketable.
Yes. And I think they need to look at AI as a tool, and for you now as an ally,
Yes.
for you to be able to move forward, or to be able to reach your goals, because
Mhm.
these tools are very powerful when used the right way.
They are. They're extremely powerful. And also, they are only as good as what you put into them. So while it can feel like this has become sentient and scary, like the movies, maybe, I don't know, that could be down the road. I don't really want to think about that, but it really is just what I put into it. And so if I think about it in terms of, I mean, if we think about it, think about, I'm having coffee right now. This is my
Mm,
spoon, right? I'm going to use
mhm.
this analogy. Here's my spoon. If I go like this, I see, oh my gosh, this is a giant spoon. I see nothing else. It has taken over the whole room. All I can see is this giant, scary spoon, right?
Yeah.
If I go like this and hold it at arm's length, I go, oh, it's a spoon. I can use it. I can set it down. I can pick it up. It's not scary at all. It's a normal size. If I can put it in proper perspective, it becomes something that's very useful to me. And so that's how I feel about AI, is that if you stand still, it's going to crash over you like an ocean wave and drown you. But if you learn to swim with it and see it as something that can assist you and help you and put it in proper perspective, like the giant spoon,
Mhm.
and use it as a tool and put it in its proper place, then it can really make your life better.
Yes, because I only read a lot of the single founders, and then they create companies within the boundaries of AI,
Mhm.
and I couldn't imagine it before. Now I have you. Now I can see how you are doing it, right? Do you think there will be a trend of single founder AI first company like you in the future?
Hope so. I mean, here's the deal. As a solo entrepreneur, while it would be great if I could hire humans to do all this work for me, I can't afford that. Now, my goal is to someday be able to afford that, but right now, I've got to use what's available to me. And so this is what I'm doing now as I start to help set me up for success to a place where I can be more successful. So I would say that solo entrepreneurs should take advantage of this technology that's available to us to help get us to the next level where we can really grow a business, because the grind of yesterday is no longer necessary. It's still a grind. It's just a different kind of grind. You don't have to grind like we did before. You can grind at a higher level, if you will. But still, still you can outsource some of these things that can really help free you up to make better connections to help build your business.
And for example, not everybody is like you who has this, organizational skills and also the brain power to be able to understand what the AI gems are. So for those who are still starting now, how would you advise them to start? Like, what are the first skills that they need to do? Do they need to read the book? Do they need to go to courses, or just to be able to have this confidence of using these tools? Because you are very comfortable about, because I'm very I like AI, but a lot of people they don't like, because most of them are fearful and like, okay, if I use AI, they will take my job and then I am jobless. So
Mhm.
for them to be able to be like you at your level, that can recreate these gems for non-tech person, what is the first step that they should take, and then another step, and then to be able to be like you?
Well, um, I don't know if anyone needs to aspire to be like me necessarily, but I will say that I would want your viewers to know that I have only been doing this for about 4 or 5 months, okay? This is not like I got in on the ground floor and I've been doing this forever. 4 months of trial and error. I started with Gemini because it's part of my business suite. I would say the most common platforms are Claude,
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, Perplexity, some of those. There are a million tools out there already, and it's easy to get overwhelmed. I say pick one that you feel comfortable with and start there. I get an email newsletter every day. It's called Superhuman,
Mm-hmm.
superhuman. And you can subscribe to that, and it gives you in non-tech terms, developments of what's going on in the world of AI. It gives you sample prompts to try to do sometimes productive things, sometimes fun things. It'll give you a link to 5 new tools that do different things, like create video, or that will, monitor your favorite sports team or something like that. But start with maybe looking at a newsletter like Superhuman that breaks it down and makes it accessible. Pick one tool that you feel comfortable with and then just start experimenting. One thing I would say that people make the mistake of thinking that AI is just Google on steroids.
That's what some people are thinking about it.
Yes, and they use it as steroids. I would say, you might start that way, but I would suggest that you ask if you have a task in front of you, ask the AI, whatever platform you like, to help you with it. For example, let's say we all have in the US, we've got Thanksgiving coming in a couple of weeks. Ask your favorite agent to plan your Thanksgiving dinner, or say, I'm going to make these dishes. You can upload your recipes. It'll make your shopping list. It'll make your cooking schedule for the day. You can have it do that. We have Christmas almost globally, basically. So you could have it plan your gift giving. You could have it, be your personal shopper for gifts. One thing that happens around the first of the year is that everyone decides they want to get healthy, right? Wants to lose
Yes.
weight. It's the
Yes, the
most
New Year's
common
resolution always.
resolution. Have it build you a workout plan and a meal plan. It will do that for you. So think about it in terms of, if you had a personal assistant, what are some things you would ask that person to do? Now have the AI do that.
That's
So
very
think about what do we have coming up? What can it plan for you? And just have it do a couple things like that for you. And just start out, plan my meal, give me a meal plan, and say, I'm going to do the Mediterranean diet. Give me a 7-day meal plan with 3 meals a day and 2 snacks. Great. It'll give you the meal, and then you'll go, you know what? I'm allergic to almonds. Take out the almonds. Okay, great. And then it'll redo it with no almonds. You'll have to dialogue with it. You'll have to do some trial and error. But just think about what you would maybe ask someone who's assisting you to do something, and then do it. I mean, I hear people all the time say, God, I need a personal assistant. Well, now you can have one.
for free, right? For
Yeah,
free.
basically.
Yeah. And then I know that it's quite an early stage right now, but many people are also very receptive of AI because they don't want to lose control.
Hmm.
AI controlling their lives versus, we are controlling AI. How would you
Hmm.
address that fear?
Yeah, I go back to, it only is as good as what you put into it. So you're always in control. And most, Gemini does this automatically. Most models, I know Claude has this, I know ChatGPT has this, where you can go in and set one of the settings that it will not, quote, learn from what you put into it, meaning whatever you put in is not going to go into the bigger scheme of things to train AI globally. If that's something that scares you, turn that setting off and just say, it's only going to learn from me about me and it's going to stick to me. And
Mm.
turn on that privacy setting. So you're not contributing to the bigger AI turning, creating a monster or whatever. But again, it is as good as what you put into it. You are always in control. And if you feel like it's doing too much, close your laptop and go touch grass. You should be doing that anyway. So if you find yourself sitting in front of it and not experiencing life, that's a problem. And that could happen with anything, not just AI. So remember that you're in control because it only knows what you put into it. Make sure you're balancing the time that you spend with time with people, time in nature, time with your pets, and turn it off when you need to turn it off.
That's a very interesting point. So now we're going to the coaching side of yours, of your experience. So you said
Okay.
that AI is one of the most exciting tools for coaches right now. So what's one practical case where AI can immediately, elevate the manager or CEO's effectiveness in the organization?
Do you mean how do I use it as a coach for individuals as well as so again, because I use Google tools most often, I create a notebook in Notebook LM for each one of my clients. I am a Gallup Clifton Strengths coach, and I coach both individuals and teams using
Mm-hmm.
Gallup's Clifton Strengths. And so whenever I have either a team engagement or an individual client, I use Notebook LM
Mm.
to create a library for either that person or for that team. So I recently did a team workshop for a group of folks at MailChimp. And so they're a part of Intuit. And so
Mm-hmm.
I built a notebook for them and I uploaded the whole team's strengths. And then I had a couple of conversations via Google Meet with the team leader to talk about what she wanted to accomplish. And I had Gemini take notes on that. So I didn't have to take notes. I was able to just engage and be present in the conversation. Gemini took my notes, had a transcript. I upload that to the notebook, and then I ask the AI portion of Notebook LM to say, create the workshop for me based on who this team is and their strengths, what this leader wants to accomplish, what the leader wants their team to look like in 3 months, etc., the goals that we set. So then the AI helped me create an agenda, helped me create the slides, create a summary. There's the audio summary that I could send to the team, but that way I have a whole library for that team's information, for their event, everything. It's all in one place. Same with individual clients. I upload their Clifton Strengths reports. I upload notes from our sessions. Add in resources that are based in what I'm working with that person on. And then I keep that as a catalog. I'll ask it questions sometimes like, what would you recommend? I tell it, you're a Clifton Strengths expert. Here's the Clifton Strengths resources. Tell me, look at the notes, give me some insights. So I have it as sort of like a second brain sort of bounce ideas off of, and I can disagree with it. That's another thing that you can, it's okay to disagree with your AI. Just because it comes out of a computer doesn't mean it's 100% correct.
Okay.
So I could disagree with it. And I go, no, I don't like that idea. Try something else. And so it's okay. And so I use that as a coach, both for teams and individuals, to help enhance those interactions and those engagements.
It's very profound use of AI. You are really, using all these tools, and it's like you have, a 10-man team, 10-man team doing that work for you, but you're being smart and utilizing AI as an ally for
Okay.
your business or for your coaching business. So, for example, there are some coaches fear that AI might replace or cheapen human coaching, right? So, how do you explain the difference between AI as a partner versus AI as a threat?
AI as a partner, I think, is helpful because, like I said, it's like an assistant. It like helps you get things done. I don't go to a coach for that. If anything, for me, I think AI will make coaching human coaching more essential, not less, because there are, again, like that epic framework from MIT. It doesn't replace empathy. It doesn't replace human contact. It doesn't replace creativity. It doesn't replace any of that. What it does is so it can enhance that. So if I'm working with a client, I also can't be with them all the time. So I don't mind them using AI to ask it a couple of questions between sessions. And in fact, I give my clients prompts to use when they're prepping for a tough conversation so that they can use AI as like a sounding board and they can say, here's what I'm going to say. And the AI can say, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe it's not a good idea. Kind of like what I do and say, should I do this? And they're like, no, don't do that. It's not a good idea. All right, fine. But you can use it to practice real world scenarios. But ultimately, coaches have empathy, they have listening skills, they have creativity, they have wisdom that cannot be replaced by AI. It's not possible. So what AI does for me is it allows me actually to be more human, more present with clients. Like I said in the example, I don't have to worry about taking notes or remembering what we talked about because Gemini's doing that for me, so I can really be fully present and really listening. Not that I wasn't before, but you know what I mean? Like, there's always that in the back of your mind, "Oh, I gotta remember that, I gotta remember that." I don't have to remember that
And
now.
sometimes you have to write it, right?
Yeah, or I
While
have to
listening.
hang
Yeah.
on, what'd you say? I have to type that. No, I don't. I can just listen, I can be present, I can really give, like, a, 10 toes down coaching session that I'm really there because the AI is assisting me in the notes and the logistics of all.
Yeah, you mentioned about the epoch framework of the MIT.
Mhm,
So it will be very crucial now when we are transitioning to AI. So how would a person who has not developed some of those traits be able to have this empathy, because empathy is also another problem for people. So how
mhm,
would they now transition? Because for them to be future ready, and since AI is there and it's going to be there for the next, maybe
mhm.
we don't know, it's going to evolve, it's going to get better, but the human factor will not be there. So the humans will still be there, and then this epoch framework are the ones that is not cannot be done by AI. How would they develop this?
Well, I've talked to several other learning and development folks about this. And in fact, little plug, HR week is coming up the week of November 17th, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's hrweek.global is the website, and it's a global free conference for leaders in all areas of HR. And I'm facilitating a panel on L&D and HR on the 20th. And one of the things we're talking about is, as learning and development practitioners, we are being asked to help implement technology into maybe cultures that are already not where we want them to be. And then we're layering this change on top, which is scaring people and decreasing their sense of safety even more. And they're already not great at the people stuff. So we are faced with a challenge of trying to keep up with the pace of technology and also acknowledging the shortcomings in our cultural situations that this is going to highlight. And so it's a big conversation in the learning and development world right now is how do we get our cultures to a place where they can use AI well? Because we don't want it to be weaponized or used in a way that's detrimental to our company's mission, vision, values. So, that's one of the reasons I make psychological safety such a core part of what I teach is because ever since that Aristotle report came out in 2015, we know that psych safety is the key that unlocks pretty much everything in a team and company culture. So because that is such a foundational piece, I work on that regardless. I did it before AI. I'm going to keep doing it through AI and with AI because psychological safety is the thing that has to be present in order for anything to work, whether you have AI or not. So now we're in a place where we have to learn how to build it in tandem and keeping up with the technology. It's a challenge.
It's a really a challenge for many organizations now, and then especially not only simultaneously developing AI and then making very good foundation for the psychological safety of the
Mhm.
employees. A lot of these things are the chaotic environment that comes with some organizations, and then you merge that with AI, and then
Mhm.
people are already stressed with what they're doing. And then there's a lot of news that, when AI comes, your job will be gone. The psychological safety, I think it's elevates more now because AI is
Mhm.
there, and a lot of them
Mhm.
are very on the defensive side,
Yes,
right?
they're
If
in fight or flight.
Yeah, and then because, okay, the management is doing AI now, okay,
Mhm.
I'm not going to support that, and there's no buy-in from me because they will always say, this is for the good of the company, no one's going to get laid off. But in reality, based on the news and the media channels, they see
Mhm.
this in social media that people
Mhm.
are getting laid off because of AI,
Yep.
right?
And that's what requires some emotional intelligence and some self-awareness. One of the things I teach as part of the psych safety is an understanding of how your brain actually works. And a lot of people are going into fight or flight right now. And that's when a tiny walnut-sized part of your brain becomes in control of everything, and it shuts off your ability to reason, to be creative, to regulate your what you say. Your emotional vocabulary is gone. So it really does short circuit the best parts of your brain. As humans, we have the ability to turn that off using what's called the prefrontal cortex, that we're the only animal who has developed that. So what we have to do to create safety for ourselves first is to say, I'm acknowledging that I'm terrified. I'm in fight or flight, and my brain is now in that place where it can't do what it needs to do to get me out of anything other than. But basically, my brain thinks I'm being chased by a dinosaur. It thinks my life is literally in danger, and it's looking around going, how can I get away from this Tyrannosaurus Rex or whatever, because that's where that comes from. So we have to say, acknowledge that I am terrified of this phenomenon, but I can overcome that using the smarter part of my brain up here and think about ways that I can actually become part of the solution rather than alienating myself from AI and making me easy to get rid of. If you refuse to engage with AI, you're going to make it very easy for your employer to say, well, we don't want to keep them because they're not moving in the direction that we are. And that's not very intelligent in my mind. That doesn't seem like a good decision. I would say acknowledge that you're afraid, switch to a more creative solution base that you can in this front part of the brain, and figure out how you can become indispensable by making AI your partner.
That's a very good advice. I think it makes sense to be on the offensive side
Mhm.
instead of making AI your enemy. Make him or her the ally, so that you will go together through ups and downs. You know what I mean? So that you will be partners together. So in your experience, what AI enabled approach has surprised you the most? Yeah.
I
Is it
think
more on the decision making side or in the system side, or you know?
well, I think in your role, for me, like I said before, it's freed me up to be more strategic, to be more big picture, to be a CEO instead of the doing. So in terms of working with leaders and helping them use it well, I can show them this will automate some easy stuff for you, so you can really think about, one of the pushbacks I get most frequently with the group I work with is, I'd love to get coaching, I'd love to attend a workshop, I'd love to work on this. I don't have time because of all the things I have to do. What you can use as a leader, what you can use AI for is to partner with you to get a lot of that stuff done. So you really can be the leader your people needs. You can learn how to be a better coach to your people. You can learn how to be present with them instead of being buried in tasks.
Do you think there will be at least, for example, 30%, for example, in Google are automated? The coding is automated. So let's assume that there will be 30% of the organization in the next 5 years that will be displaced. Do you think the organization should already, identify, upscaling of these people who are going to be displaced, instead of, just lay them off. Like, because I believe, for me, I believe, just like any other industry or disruption, it will create another, another type of work, another industry, or another ways of working,
Mhm.
right? So,
Yes.
for example, the internet. When the internet was there, it created like BPOs, which never existed before. So it becomes a well-connected world. So now I think the AI is connecting all the data in the world, and then at our fingertips, we will be able to harness that, just like Google, just better.
Yep.
And you'll be able to harness that to be able to do what you can do best,
Mhm.
right?
Yes. I think if you look back over the last 50 to 100 years, you can think of a lot of jobs or industries that existed that no longer exist because they have been replaced. This is not the first time that a technology will replace a person. We've been doing this forever, back to the cotton gin, you know? And yes, new jobs, new industries will grow up around it. For example, I have decided to add to my business this coaching coaches to build an AI team thing because I've
Mm,
done it because of AI. I've added a whole new arm to my business because of it. So we had the .com. I lived in the Bay Area during the .com boom and bust.
uh-huh.
I saw it. I saw tech bros coming into the city on weekends and spending money like crazy, and then I saw it all disappear. I know what that's like. I also know that it evened out. We are in an AI boom right now, and I bet there's going to be a bit of a bubble. There's a
Yes,
lot
there
of
will be.
forecasters saying there will be.
Yes.
We've done this before. And now whole companies, now we think of companies that came out 25 years ago are considered, quote, legacy internet companies. 25 years. When in the world has 25 years been a legacy? But it is now, right? So there are now companies that started back then that were on the cutting edge that are now behind.
Yes.
And so they've got to catch up. Everyone has to catch up. This is going so fast. It's accelerated. So we've gone these ebbs and flows because of technology throughout human history. This one's speeding up. These are our ebbs and flows are faster and faster, and hopefully we're learning more from them. Yes, there are whole industries now that exist because of the internet that didn't exist before. And I bet you that that's going to happen. Now, as far as companies upskilling their people, I don't know how generous they're going to be because companies are ultimately, especially publicly traded ones, unfortunately, they really only care about delivering value to shareholders, which is, don't get me started on that because it really discounts the human element and it's unfortunate. What I think is great is that humans are much cooler than companies. And already you can go to YouTube and learn so much more about AI in about 2 hours than you could ever learn through what your company would teach you. So I would say being proactive and teaching yourself is going to be probably your best bet to getting a handle on what your next thing could be. Because what I'm reading now is that companies are actually looking for what AI skills people have in job
Really?
interviews. In
Now?
job, they already want you to
Wow.
have AI skills in job interviews.
Wow.
So even if you lose your job because of AI, if you go out to try to get another one, you're going to need AI. So everything is pointing to learn it, put it in its proper place, and take control of it rather than being afraid of it.
I was surprised. Now they are putting also AI, as one of
They
the
want to
skill.
know, they're asking and they want to know your comfort level, your facility with AI. And they're asking about that in interviews. They're not asking you to build something or code something necessarily. I mean, if you're getting an engineer job, maybe, but they want to know that you are comfortable using AI because whatever job you're going to go for, you're going to have to use it.
Makes sense. Makes sense. But I was just so surprised right now because I know it's a little more fragmented, and it's not really standardized yet. It still
Mm-hmm.
works on
Mm-hmm.
silos. So
Mm-hmm.
having the industry now ask the job seekers about AI capabilities is really one thing that our listeners, our viewers should do,
Yeah,
because if they are going to be replaced, might as well, learn from it also, right?
absolutely.
Use it also.
Absolutely.
Now, the managers most often in the middle management are mostly often overwhelmed, right? So I think the success of AI integration into the company lies in the middle. They should be able to articulate what are the top management was wanted to do, and then
Mhm,
to be able to motivate and influence the people to do it the
mhm,
right way.
mhm.
So what do you think? What simple practice that you can teach that would reduce that burnout, and then should that would also lead to increase in effectiveness of each manager?
I would say the f w s do an audit of their time and spend a few days, even up to a week, kind of auditing, how am I spending my time? And I would find the things that are low value in terms of not they don't obviously they what the everything they do, they have to do, but what are the low value things that don't necessarily contribute to the main goal of what they're supposed to be doing? Their goals, their company's vision or mission, what are those low value things that drain them? And see if they can't delegate them to an AI tool so that they can sort of get out of their own way and just say, what are these low level things I could delegate to an AI tool that will enhance my capability of being with my people, coaching my people, accomplishing the goals that have been cascaded to me. But start by that time audit and see what things that are maybe repetitive or administrative or lower level that you could get an AI tool to do for you to free you up to be available to your people to coach them.
That's a very good advice for our listeners and viewers. And I think we're going to almost the end. And thank you very much for all the insightful and your opinions and your experience, and of course
Yes.
your AI gems, your team.
My
It's
team.
very yeah, it's very refreshing and it's very good. But you are really you are really maximizing the power of AI, and it's very
Mhm.
good to know that a lot of our listeners are still you know in that stage of transforming themselves into a AI ready or AI future ready in the workforce, in their career, or even in the personal one. So
Mhm.
we were going to move on to the rapid 10x round, where I will ask you
Okay.
10 questions about what you think about AI. So
Okay.
question number one, what's one AI tool you actually use every day?
Gemini Gems and my Morgan, my business strategist for sure.
Okay. Yeah. I like Morgan already. Yeah. So what's one task AI has already 10x in your life?
The prospect research, my marketing research analyst, Athena, she could do in about a minute what take me hours. It's just a game changer for my outreach and sales.
Really? How do you use Athena for that? Like, how do you prompt her?
So we've built a strategy around who is my target company, and it's scaling and scraping companies who are B, C round funding, and they're in that place where they're starting to promote individual contributors to managers, and those people don't really know how to manage, and they're burning out or they're quitting or they're performing poorly. And so what I come in and do is solve that manager turnover and poor performance problem for those individual contributors who are becoming managers, and I help them become a people manager. So I that is my target company. So I have Athena go and scour the internet, and I've given her criteria on the research she should do and what are the signals that they're in that category and what's the abundance opportunity. We have an abundance mindset here in
Yeah.
my team. And so she goes out, she pulls 5 to 10 companies for me once or twice a week. And then I do some of my own research on who are the people there that I want to reach out to. And then I have my chief of staff draft all of that for me. And then I put the human touch on it and send it out.
Nice. So your chief of staff is Peggy, right?
Peggy.
It's Peggy.
And
Okay.
the other my other gems are have names that are kinda related to something precious stony, but I named
Mm-hmm.
Peggy because I love Mad Men. It was one of my favorite TV shows of all time. So Peggy is named after Peggy on Mad Men.
That's good information. So, what's one human skill AI can never replace?
Strategic judgment and psychological safety. So AI can, like, give you a draft. Like Peggy, she can provide the brand voice. Athena could give me analysis. I can get strategy from Morgan, but that human skill of creating a safe environment for a client to feel safe, for me to help their team feel safe. That's the half of my mission that AI just can't touch.
If you could automate one annoying thing forever, what would that be?
Gosh, if I could, is this business or personal?
Any. You can
Any?
choose. Or business and personal.
Okay.
That would be great.
Well, if I could, I need an AI actual robot to clean my house because I really hate it. Specifically, I hate doing the floors for some reason. So if I could have an automated robot that cleaned the floors for me, that'd be great. But the other thing is really for the business, it really is
Mhm.
some of this admin stuff of organizing. I am not organized. I am not naturally organized. And so being able to say, here, I need this information, do the research for me and put it into a spreadsheet. Oh my God, that's amazing. So that research and organizing of the information is a game changer for me because I'm all over the place. So it really does. I love that.
Okay. What's the biggest misconception about AI right now?
That you've got to be the perfect prompt engineer. You don't. Using AI is about delegation. So if you can delegate to a human, you can delegate to AI. You don't need to be a tech person and be able to write the perfect prompt. Writing a prompt is about clearly communicating. So if you can communicate clearly, if you can delegate, you can write a prompt.
Okay. So, what advice would you give someone who wants to become 10x of himself or herself starting today?
Stop trying to do all the things and delegate. Make sure that like I said before, audit your time and see what you can delegate. But if you want to free up your time and do more of what you love, delegate to AI. Stop
Okay.
trying to do it all.
Okay. That's a very good advice. So, what would you tell your younger self about the future?
All that time that you spent trying to get good at stuff you hate doing was a waste.
Wow. That's
I would tell my younger self that there's this tool coming that's gonna let you delegate the things you don't love doing. Just hang on, it's coming.
okay. So, what's one book, podcast, or resource that shape your thinking about AI or innovation?
I'm actually gonna go with the Gallup Clifton Strengths, my certification, and my resources around being a strengths coach. What I have, because I really am focused on helping people work in a way that's natural for the way that they're wired. It's a great filter because I don't use AI to quote fix my weaknesses. I use AI to delegate my non-strengths. And so it's the ultimate tool for a strengths-based person to
Mhm.
say, we already have so much data on being a strengths-based person is so much more effective. Now using AI to do the things that are your non-strengths focused things is just turning that effectiveness up to 11. So that knowledge and the resource around Gallup's Clifton Strengths and knowing my strengths and knowing how to help people know their strengths has really been something that's worked together successfully with AI.
If you had to bet on one AI trend that will be massive in 3 years, what is it?
AI executive teams like I have, not just one assistant, but this team of specialized autonomous AI agents that you manage that are all working 24/7 to run the back end of your business.
In one sentence, what does 10x mean to you personally?
X means having the strategic freedom to work in my zone of genius because I've built a team that I can trust to cut through the chaos.
That's very nice, closing remarks from you. Thank you very much, Tiffany, for having your time with me. And it's a very, 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 interesting discussion with you. First time I had a discussion with somebody who's really doing it with an AI team.
Mhm,
And it will also make my life easier when it comes to,
mhm,
organizing, doing the
mhm.
things that I don't love. Thank you very much for sharing it with you, sharing us your insights and your practical advice to our viewers and listeners. So if they wanted to reach out to you and they wanted some coaching when it comes to this AI executives, where do they reach you?
I founded a company called Build Your Bench. And so you can find me at buildyourbench.com, where you can learn about the workshops I do for leaders, as well as learning how to be a solopreneur that is powered by AI. I have one-time engagements up to 6-month engagements, depending on what your needs are. And so I'd love to talk to any of your viewers and listeners who are really interested in supercharging either their own business or their teams using AI and psychological safety.
Yeah. So again, thank you very much for your time. And I hope this would not be the last time that we're going to talk about these things.
It won't. It won't.